Hi everyone, I'm Echoes and I'm a Vtuber, and I'll be going over the Gene of AI, episode 4 titled 4 Cases. In this episode we don't get too much plot progression or world building as much, but rather we instead go through a few different types of scenarios that can happen in this world and how they affect people. So in the beginning, we have pretty much the nurse is currently helping pseudo sensei with his I guess blood testing. So she's helping withdraw blood from his arm. We'll skip it because it kind of makes some people kind of squeamish to look at it. But yeah, he mostly is helping train her because she looks so nervous doing it to him, especially since she likes him and she doesn't want him to feel pain. And he'll also test her as well. Pseudo Sensei isn't very expressive. Wonder if he ever really gets mad or happy, or if there's anyone he really feels strongly about. Kind of interesting question. I'd like to see him like that. So she kind of wants him to just show his emotions a little bit more. You see that he knows her staring at him. Skip the opening for now. And then you can see we go through a few different types of scenarios. Case 1 is with Risa, who is the nurse assistant, and she's helping her friend with picking up litter from the local park. Because her friend wants to help her with her romance because but she's doing it through allow me to grant your wish of wanting to see the doctor in different situations. So she's using a program in order to do that. And it's through this software called Fantasy Generator. So you have an AI learn about characters or people you're interested in, produces a story about them. I find that kind of interesting because that type of thing does actually exist currently, not like through like a visual story, but like through a text-based story, where you could create, you insert like prompts and then it generates something out of them, which is pretty cool. Of course, you can have the doctor be your star, for instance, and then this is the first fantasy scenario where she is a schoolgirl and she is running into a guy who is the team captain of the basketball team. Pretty boy. And it's like replicating like a video game. I thought this would be VR, but actually it looks like a typical game. And she's like, where's the doctor? Never actually make them. Preview samples. Let's try something else. And the fantasy scenario 2 is pretty much, you can see that the nurse has the doctor be her like childhood friend. And she's like, what are you doing barging into my room? And you can see that he acts so funny because he acts so different than because he's so stoic typically, with usually a pretty deadpan face, that him acting like so much like a high schooler, it just feels completely wrong. Stuck living together, got an issue to talk to Mika-san. Don't call my mom by her name. And then you can see she's covering her friend's eyes. On serious events and living together. It's the typical rom-com scenario of two people living together who aren't family. Nothing like how he acts. Isn't this what you wanted? I never said I wanted to see him with a different personality. I just wanted him to be more relaxed. Yeah, so she kind of feels like he always keeps his guard up and never really is able to relax properly. Well, in that case, no more. Because the person sees treatment of herself. And I don't want to see him with other women. That won't be a problem. And then the fantasy scenario 3 is just, it's the BL scenario, which is kind of funny, with the doctor and one of his patients. And then she stops her. The man of masterpiece this time. And the second case involves Nozaki-kun, who right here, he he mentions having a crush on this brown-haired girl. So what did you decide? Still wondering. Anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. And then mentions the Bible. I wish I could tell Jesus about how technology has given birth to something way crazier than man's heart. So then he goes to Pseudosense's clinic and says, anyway, someone could look at what's in your implant. And then he's like, oh, porn. Look at porn. Make sure you look in private mode. And then the kid asks, and that'll keep it a secret? There's no guarantee of that. So then if you want to prevent yourself from ruining your life, you should read this. It's probably related to porn addiction, most likely. And then the doctor updates his implant. And he's like, fine. Visual media, and also this, I feel like this is a good commentary the doctor makes. Virtual media lets you do anything you want and nobody gets hurt, but the things you experience will stay with you. So I think this is a warning for him. Never forget what's real and what's virtual, because sometimes that line blurs if you're not careful. And this kid blurs that line to a point that he mixes things up. Because you see, what he does that mixes is that he is installing a mod to a game that he likes, and it pretty much allows you to create like kind of like a virtual girlfriend called Nana, but you could adjust her appearance based on what he likes. Please aware this is an unofficial mod, and so the mod did he use it with? So he's probably going to use it with the girl he has a crush on, of course. And you see that one guy here says this big dude says he does it with a 2D girl, because it's his way of distinguishing between fantasy and reality, right? Well, this other kid did it with a girl he likes, and then the tall guy is like, ew, that's gross, because in a way it's kind of like, what do you call it? It's kind of like deep faking kind of thing, where sometimes people put the faces of actual people onto the bodies of other people. It's you know, very much illegal, because in a way you're stealing someone's appearance to use it for yourself and for your own benefit. It's kind of like the idea of like how sometimes if that, you know, happens stuff, people can, you know, get into scandals that is not even their fault, like by person matching the person's body they like to the body of like a porn star, for example, or something like that. It's really very much a very, very gray line that could easily get into something far more depraved. It also makes the person who they're using the mod based on very uncomfortable if they're aware of it, because it feels like you're just becoming a sex object at that point. And then you can see that this kid did it with the girl he likes. Our AI making the heroine of a game look like an acquaintance is a piece of cake. You can see he goes a little nuts. You can see he's just looking at her lustfully, you could tell. And he can't even treat her normally. She's a game AI on inside. So he has trouble distinguishing between reality and fiction. And you see the virtual Nana is trying to comfort him. And you can see she's kind of teaching him. Good. If you're a humanoid, you could do a full sensation dive into my world and hold me for real. All I wanted was see her naked. Wow. Yikes. Some point I got addicted to the game. But one day, you can see that she actually invites him to a date. And then they talk about movies and stuff, but then he mentions Nana, right? He calls her Nana, one of the crazy experiences that causing all those problems. And you can see he's busted. And she asks him, "Did you make me in it?" And she rejects him. Tells anyone I'm done for. It's probably a illegal technology. Made me feel guilty about it. I wonder why. So, in a way, you can see that this guy kind of went full into his fantasies because the actual girl, real life girl, rejects him because he was being really creepy. He kind of pretty much sexualized her in a virtual software against her will. She didn't ask, by the way. And it just makes you feel like you're like, what's the word? It feels like, you know, you're a sex object, right? And but also you're also like violated in a way too. So that's the worst thing about it. I hope he eventually figures things out, but that's not good. And then you see this, there's the third case that's mentioned here about this guy right here. He cheats on his girlfriend for some reason. He said, "Won't cheat me, give me another chance, begging you." And he needs to change. And you can see that the doctor's doing a consultation with the two. I'd stay with him if you could stop cheating. Quite the tragedy. Can't control my desires on my own. Can't resist boobs and butts. Oh, science solution Michi. Why do you make humanoid like me? Anything itself has made a victim of me. Wow, this guy. But we can always try something. So in a way, you can see that this guy adjusts himself based on their circumstances. He's like, I'm too sex depraved, so I need to fix myself. Go tinker with your head. And what they added was a switch, so that if he sees anything lustful, right, he's able to regain his rationality. Yeah, and only if he clicks it, and then you can see he completely like zones out and kind of clears his head somehow. Thought he looked really cool. Time to eat, and then he's been doing well with his girlfriend, right? Then you can see his girlfriend's like rejecting him a bit. But then you can see his girlfriend actually says that she fell in love with someone else. And he didn't do anything wrong, right? But I don't feel passion for you anymore. So in a way, this is kind of an interesting story because it feels like, did this guy who cheated on his girlfriend change too much because of that switch? Or jealousy is what was keeping us together? I think our actual love may have died a long time ago. Emotions are quite complicated. And then we could take the switch out too. Or maybe give you one to cheer you up this time. So in a way, like what's crazy about the switch is that it actually can change your entire mindset. For him, it's from lust to rationality. And then you have a switch that artificially makes you happy. That's can be kind of seen as messed up, you know? And then we don't really get the result of that. And then you can see Risa with her friend was like, talking, and she says like, I like real stuff. I don't like fiction. And then you can see that the girl her friend makes a joke saying that she made a preview with herself and Risa, and then plays it off as a joke. Good luck, Risa. It'd be nice if at least one of us got what we wanted. Don't know what she's alluding to here. And then you see here where Suda Sensei mentions the results of the blood test from in the beginning. There's nothing of note. And about him, it's the same as usual. And then the nurse just comments, he's looking for a copy of his mother's data that might be out somewhere. And he uses the name Mogadi to take on strange cases. I wonder if he has any other secrets. I'm sure, and they allude to a secret here where he mentions Jay, who's his AI, right? Since we got that other sample of my blood, we're going to run additional tests tomorrow. I don't know what the thing is that it's hard to be clear what this blood sample means because Is it just his usual blood type, or is it like when he was younger, when he was sick? It's unclear what he's alluding to, but we'll probably figure out maybe in the upcoming episode, which also covers a different case. But yeah, this episode is just super interesting just because, like, not only does it go through like different types of scenarios that, you know, people can actually go through, like wanting to put your crush into different situations in the game, or using your crush's appearance in a game to escape from reality, or in a way like sexualize your crush without her permission, and obviously that girl rejected the dude because of that. So then the guy goes through escapism. And the last one is where the guy changes himself to match his girlfriend, but his girlfriend ends up breaking up with him because she doesn't love him anymore. The love faded, and now and the guy like did everything from, even though he's cheating initially, he installed that switch so he can control himself because he really did love his girlfriend. And, you know, like, emotions are truly fickle things. And also, it also alluded to the possibility of you can install switches into yourself, I think mostly for the humanoids, in order to artificially change your emotions. It's kind of, emotions are mine. It's kind of crazy. Like, that type of thing can, you know, possibly happen in the future. I'll say this is just a hypothetical, of course, but it's just interesting food for thought. And then we also get the question of what is Suda Sensei looking for via the blood test. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, hope you all found that kind of interesting, and looking forward to continue to cover the series, as it's overall like still super enjoyable, you know. All right, thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day. Take care.